Hello my friends and welcome to the version 1.4 installation guide for Roguetech. My lovely wife has very kindly volunteered her Windows 10 PC for this because on Windows 7 the installation went pretty smoothly, but on Windows 10 it went really badly and actually took me about 3 or 4 hours to get it to work. So we're doing it on Windows 10. I have taken my spare headset so the audio quality will not be quite as good, so that I can demonstrate to you the installation process on Windows 10. So we have a lot to get through. Take your time, and we will get it installed. It will work, but we might see some errors and such. In theory, we should. Okay, and that's it. If you have ever modded your game at all, you need to follow the clean uninstallation procedure before you begin. There is a link to that in the description. There's a official forum thread pin with my guides to clean uninstalling the game, as well as support. So if you have ever modded, you absolutely must clean uninstall. If you have never modded, we still have a few things to do with the base game first before we start installing. So let's begin. So the first thing to do is right-click Battletech and go to Properties. You want to make two changes here. So you want to go to Updates, and you want to only update this game when I launch it. The reason why is because updates will break mods, not just Roguetech, but any mods really. So you don't want the game to update. If there is an update pending, you want to launch Steam in offline mode so that you can play Roguetech or any other mod. Otherwise, you will encounter problems or have to reinstall. The second thing you need to change is you need to untick this Enable Steam Cloud Synchronization for Battletech. Cloud-based saving causes all kinds of problems for modded games, so untick that. Okay, that should be all you need to do here. Close that. Now open up your base game. Shouldn't take too long. We have a few things to do in the base game. If you've done a clean uninstallation, you will get the GDPR dialog and the Paradox account dialog. Just deny both of those. Okay, so you've loaded up your game. Make sure that you are not signed in. That is pretty important. If you have any campaigns, delete them all. If you have any careers, like I have here, go to the load screen and make sure to delete it. If you have any skirmish saved mech designs or any skirmish saved lances, anything like that, you need to go through and delete them all. Once you're done, close the game. This is also a good check just to make sure that your game is actually running properly. I apologize if the sound is a little bit loud. I am on the wife's machine here. In fact, it should be disabled, so you should just hear my voice only. Wow, quitting taking a while. Come on. Any second now, Battletech. Come on. As you can see, I'm facing some pretty strange problems on Windows 10 with the game being slightly unstable. I'm not even sure if it's got much to do with Roguetech. There we go. It finally closed itself. Okay, so it is working. Just took a while to close itself. Probably was doing some stuff because I've just cleanly uninstalled the game. So, okay, so we are ready to begin. Go to Nexus Mods and download the Community Asset Pack, which is under the requirements for Roguetech. This is it here, Community Asset Bundle. With Nexus mods, you must be logged in to download anything, so you're going to have to create an account, and then once you've created an account, you should be able to download it. So go to Files and do a manual download of the Community Asset Bundle. It's 2 gigs, so I have already pre-downloaded it. Save it to your desktop. Once you have downloaded it and saved it, just hit back and hit back again, so you're back on the Roguetech page for Nexus mods, and then go to Files and download the Roguetech core. Once again, I have saved it to my desktop already, so I don't need to do that. The Community Asset Bundle is 2 gigs, and so no one wants to watch me download a 2 gig file. That will take some time. So I have pre-downloaded them, but these are the 2 files that you need, and you need to save them to your desktop. So I have them here. This is the Roguetech core, and this is the Community Asset Bundle. Now, first thing you want to do is open up the Community Asset Bundle, which is a zip folder. Take these 3 files and dump them on your desktop. It shouldn't take too long. Even unzipping them takes a while because it's massive. Like 2 gigs is pretty big. Okay, verify you've got the 3 files. Put them in the middle of your desktop just so that you've got them to work with. You can now delete this zip folder. It's not necessary anymore. Now right-click Roguetech, run as administrator. On Windows 10, the first time I did this, I got a pop-up box saying that the file was unrecognized. If you click the More Info panel and say that it's okay to run the file or run once, then it will work. So just watch out for that step. Unfortunately, I can't recreate the step because Windows 10 remembers. So that is what it is. But if you see a blue Windows 10 box that says that this file's been downloaded off the internet by an unknown publisher, and you shouldn't, and that you've only got one option, which is don't run. If you click More Info, underneath More Info, it will actually let you run the file. Okay, so you've got the installer in front of you for Roguetech. Click Next. Accept the agreement. Click Next. Verify that that is your Battletech directory. The easy way to verify it is to open Steam, right-click Properties on Battletech, and then go to Local Files, Browse Local Files, and you will be able to verify the location. So you see here, we're in Delta Games, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Battletech, and this is the correct path. Just be careful to verify it because it's using auto detection. But if you have different versions of the game or you use many drives, it can go wrong. Click Next. We can close that now. Okay, there's all various settings here. I just left the default settings because it just makes life easier, and the default settings are typically what the developer wants you to play with, so we will just leave that as default, but you can go through and tweak this to your taste. Just note that if you tweak it, you will have to tweak it the exact same way if we need to run the installer again. Hopefully we won't encounter these problems, but if we do, I'll show you how to defeat them. So press Next. This is a first time installation, so choose first time installation. And here it has additional options for a clean uninstall. You can just tick all these. We've already done a clean uninstall, or you should have done a clean uninstall, so it shouldn't matter. Click Next, and then click Install. Installation will take a little bit. Hopefully we encounter the same problems that I've encountered many times trying to install this. If not, I will describe to you what the problems were and how to fix them. But in theory, I've reset this installation process to exactly how it was before I did a few practice runs. Okay, so now Roguetech's installed. Untick these top 3 boxes. In fact, untick all these boxes. Press Finish. Right, the next step, right-click the Community Asset Bundle run as administrator. There we go. This is this Windows 10 pop-up that I was talking about. Prevented an unrecognized app from starting. So click More Info and then select Run Anyway. So click Next, accept the agreement, click Next. Verify that that is the correct directory. Obviously, we just verified it before, and I do not have the memory of a goldfish, so I know that that's right. Press Next. Press Install. This will take a little bit to install because it's uncompressing all of these many gigs of assets. Now, on Windows 7, after doing these two things, I just right-clicked Battletech and ran it, and it worked, and we were done. But on Windows 10, I had problems. So let's see if we encounter the problems. Not much to say here while it's installing. Yeah, it's I'm doing the Fury Point campaign, obviously, downstairs in the studio. So I decided at first to make this guide on my laptop, which is up here. And it went pretty simply. And then out of interest, I decided to make the guide on Windows 10, and I encountered all kinds of problems. So yeah, it's it went wrong for a while, but a little bit of trickery later, and I've got it working. Do note here that this is a Norwegian computer, but I am using the English settings because I'm English. I am aware that there might be problems with people using the localized version of Battletech, which I think exists now in Russian, German, a couple of other languages. Can't remember off the top of my head. I do not believe that mods work with localized copies of the game. They never have done in any game, because when you change the language, you often change the references for files, and that causes all kinds of problems. So just keep in mind that if you are on a foreign language computer, just to make sure that you have your English, United Kingdom, UK set throughout the whole process. Note that if you haven't had it set during the whole of this guide and you're just panicking about it now, don't panic about it now. It shouldn't be a problem if you just switch it back to English UK at this point. Well, after this installation is completed. But if you do encounter problems, which I didn't, because I did actually run the install process under the Norwegian settings at first to see what would happen, I didn't encounter any issues. So, but I don't live in one of the regions that has language packs, because there is not a Norwegian localization. So, anyway, we're done. So click Finish. Now, in theory, if it's Windows 7, it would just work now. But on Windows 10, I encountered some problems. So let's see. I'm actually hoping that it goes wrong, because then I can show you what to do to fix it. If it doesn't go wrong, then I'll just simply have to explain to you the issue that I encountered and how to fix it. Okay, so we're initializing. This will take some time. Dun 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 dun. Well, notice in the background here I have a Death Star exploding light fitting. It's so cool. From IKEA, believe it or not. I say I have it. It's actually the wife's. She's very nerdy. Whoa, this is going to take some time. I genuinely feel sorry for anyone on a hard disk drive, by the way. This is solid state and it still takes a long time. If you're on a standard HDD, you're going to be here for a while. Can't be helped, I'm afraid. Solid state drives have gotten much cheaper these days. They are only maybe like 30% more expensive than a mechanical disc. Well, it depends on the size, of course. If you buy a massive mechanical disc like a 6 TB one or whatever, then that's not true. But if you just want a gig, and I think a gig is plenty, not a gig, terabyte. If you just want a terabyte, then they're not that expensive, depending on your region, of course. In the UK and the US, they're not that expensive. So maybe something to get yourself, or even just 256 GB would be enough. Put your most intensive games on it. Okay, it loaded. Sweet. So I'll dismiss this. So in theory now, we just load a career and it works. Alright, so I'm going to have to describe to you the problem that I faced. So if you face the same issue, it can be fixed. This is how it goes on Windows 7. It just works first time without any issues. It may simply be the case that Windows 10 loses the plot on the first attempt. Alright, so it worked. Great, so it's installed and it's running. However, some of you right now will have followed this process to the letter and it's not loaded. So, here's what you do. When I first installed it using this exact same process, I got an error that said that 3 mods did not load. Online map, Juggernaut, something or other, and one other mod. And with that error, the game would not work. So what I did was, I closed the game down, and what I did was I ran the installer again, and at the end of the installer, or near the end, so I went through all the same settings and process, I then chose to patch RMTL and also do the additional clean. And then after that, I reloaded the game, and when I reloaded the game, it said that the community bundle was not detected. So then I closed the game, and I right-click and I installed the community asset bundle again. And then after that, it worked. And as part of that first attempt to install it as well, the first time I loaded the game, it said that Modtech itself said that its load had failed, and I had to Alt F4 out of it and reopen the game again, and then it loaded, but showed that 3 mods were not working. If you encounter that problem, don't lose heart. You can simply run the installer again, but this time, instead of saying that it's a clean BMTL, say that it's a patch BMTL, run it through, open the game. When you open the game, it should load correctly, but say that the community asset bundle has not been detected. Then run the community asset bundle, and well, close the game, run the community asset bundle, then reopen the game, and it should work. And that is it. Hopefully, this has helped you out. If there are any sort of problems, comments, questions, etc., just drop it in the comments. I'm on my wife's computer, so the audio quality and setup is not going to be as good as down in the studio. But a few people were really desperate to get their hands on this guide, so I have created it for you guys. Hope you appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.